Hello everybody and welcome to another Silvera tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to see how you can use Silvera to implement distributed systems that use messaging as communication style. So we're going to upgrade the example that we used in previous videos. What we want to do in this example is every time we create or remove an order or even update, we want to pass a message to a service that will be used to send an email to the user and notify him about his order. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file called messaging.si. So in this file we are going to define message pool, which is an object that contains all the messages that can be used throughout the application, and these messages are separated into groups. So I'm going to create a group called order message group. This group will contain all the messages that are related to the order object. So I'm going to define a message called order created, and this message will have two attributes: use order ID and user email. Okay, so let's also define two more messages. One will be order updated and also order deleted. Okay, so we defined our messages. Next things we want to do is create a message broker that will be used to transfer the messages between publishers and subscribers. So I'm going to name it a broker, and brokers in Silvera contain channels, and each channel is typed channel, which means that only messages of a certain type can be passed to the channel. So let me define channel called, okay, we can call it like this: event order created channel. And let's make sure that on this channel only order created can be passed. And here you need to specify the fully qualified name of the message. So I'm going to create two more channels, and this one here will be order updated channel, and the message will be order updated. And also we're going to need one channel for order deleted. Okay, so we defined our message pool and we defined a message broker. Both of these objects are available in every of Silvera modules. So in the order, I'm going to change communication style from RPC to messaging. And here also I'm going to make sure that every time order is created, updated or deleted, I'm going to pass a message to the broker about and notify the broker about the event. So for the CRUD methods, for this purpose, instead of generic CRUD annotation, I can use separate annotations: create, also read, update, and delete. But also we want to make sure that for each of these we pass a certain message to the broker. So for the create, we are going to pass this message here, order created. So this is the syntax. I will provide a fully qualified name for the message, then an arrow, and I'm going to say broker dot, and I'm going to specify to which channel the message will be passed. Okay, so this is create. For read, we don't have any messages, so we can leave it like this. And let's do this also for update. This is going to be update channel, and also for delete. Order deleted, and okay, order deleted. So that's it when it comes to order microservice. So now we're going to add a new microservice called email notifier.si. Actually, the file is called email notifier, but our service will be called email notifier. Okay, so we're going to also make this available in service registry. No. Registry. Okay, and communication style for this will be messaging. So let's also import setup.si, because it contains the definition of service registry object. Okay, so now we're going to define an API for this microservice, and I'm going to add a new domain object called, let's say, notification, and notification will contain two attributes: order ID and user email. Okay, so let's add a method which will allow us to list all notifications from database, and let's add REST mapping with get HTTP method. Okay. Now, what we're going to do in this microservice is we're also going to define an internal API functions, which means these functions are not available from the outside of the service, and you can see them as private methods in, let's say, Java. So I'm going to use internal section for this. Okay, and I'm going to define three methods. One is order created, then we'll have order updated, and also order deleted. Okay, so these functions here are going to consume the messages from the message broker, and for this one I need to use consumer annotation, and I'm going to say I'm going to consume order message group order created message from broker.eve order created channel. Okay, so similar thing will be for order updated. I just need to change the channel here, and for the order deleted. Okay, so let's also add this microservice behind our gateway. So I'm going to say email notifier as API/E, and let's import this file also. Okay, so just as we can create consumers, we can also define producer methods. For example, I can add some function that will just produce some events. For example, let's say this one is called example function. Okay, and here I can also say producer, and I need to, let's say I'm going to produce order created and send it to the broker's channel for that method. Okay, so for this example there's really no need to add this function, but it can be possible to produce messages from these functions also here. Okay, I'm just going to remove this here, and that should be it. Now we can compile and see if everything works okay. We're going to use Silvera compile to compile the model, and since I am in the directory of a model, I can just use dot. Oh, sorry about that, Silvera. Okay, so cannot resolve annotation. Okay, let's see what the problem is. I'm going to go to the order, and yeah, I need to say updated. Okay, let's try again. Declaration name with email notifier gateway 23.9. Okay, gateway 23. Oh, notifier. Okay, let's try again, and our code is generated successfully. So let's try. I'm going to start service registry first. So it seems that everything is working okay. We have no errors in our code, but what we forgot to do is we forgot to provide the implementation for the order service and email notifier service. So let's go back to the code, and let's open order. And as you can see, we have our code here from the previous example, but we are missing the part where messages are being published. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this code here, and I'm gonna remove this file. This will force Silvera to regenerate this file. So let's go back and let's kill these. Let's kill them all. Okay, so what we are going to do now is open. Oh, I need to compile again. Sorry. Okay, so we compiled it again, and the file is back here. And as you can see now, we have these Kafka template objects that are used to pass the messages. So what I'm going to bring back is these two methods, one for checking and updating the order and one for listing the order, and I'm just going to paste them back here. I'm going to call this here again, order. Okay, and also here, before we save, here I'll use order update. Okay, so what we're going to do next now is we are going to provide the message with the values. So I'm going to say message set order ID. If you remember, we have these attributes here that we need to set. So it'll be set order ID, and I'm going to use order get ID method, and also I need user email. So I'm going to say message set user email, and here I'm going to use user client that we have here, and I'm going to say user email and order get user. So this code here will call our user service, and based on the username we will retrieve the user email. Okay, so let's do that for update also. And here we're going to use order update, and also for delete order. Here it will be entity. Okay, so order service is done. The next thing we're going to implement is email notifier service. Okay, so as you can see, we have these public methods here. Actually, the one that is public, it's list notification, and as you can see here, these are our internal functions, and each of them has a message as an argument, and that's something that I forgot to mention here when we were defining these methods. So basically each function is void, and you can just leave empty brackets as there are no arguments, and this message here will be generated as an argument in the generated code. So there it is. So as you can see, also we have no notification repository generated here because we have no CRUD annotations on this type def here. So we can always set that manually because that repository is actually generated. So I'm going to say notification repository, let's say notification repo. Okay, and let's auto-fire that. This here is already imported and also auto-wired. So we can just say return notification repo find all. Okay, and also let's implement these methods here. So every time this method here is called, we're going to create new notification and save it to the database. So let's create notification. Okay, and notification also has order ID and user email, and let's say and set order ID message get order ID, sorry, and let's set user email. Okay, now we can save it into database. And since this is email notifier service, in the rest of the code here we can add a code that will actually send an email, but for now let's just add prints to the console that we know that this function is triggered. Okay, so we can say order created, and let's just copy this code to the rest of the functions here. I'm going to say order updated here and order deleted. Okay, and that should be it. So let's run these again. Okay, so yes, what we forgot to do is run our Kafka broker, and I'm going to start both Zookeeper and Kafka. Okay, we got our Zookeeper running, and let's start Kafka. Okay, now we can run email notifier and the order service again. Okay, now that everything is running, let's create some orders. So we're going to use post method, and here let's add a user. Will be user1, and let's add items. Here we need book ID, and we have book with 1, 2, 3, 4 in a database, and we need amount. Let's say we need 3 books. Okay, since this is a list, I need to put everything in these brackets. Okay, so let's post and let's see what will happen. And as we can see, we added new order, and let's go back just to see if, okay, so we have email sent here printed in the console. And also let's see if we have notification inside the database. And as you see, we have one notification here, so everything is working properly. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.